happy on how we, I'm going to cover again some things in section 2 and some additional things in section 2. Section 3, which is very important because this is the one that your assignment and quiz is due also next week. So, all right. So one concept, this slide actually is from another of my marketing classes, but I think it really summarizes well all the different types of digital media, okay? Because there is many different types and you can really separate it into 3 big buckets. First of all, you have the paid media, okay, which is obviously the traditional media like print, advertising, sponsorships, television, banners, radio. Here's, and then you have in like we saw last time, all the sponsorship ads or all the paid ads or display ads that you can do in Google and Facebook and Amazon and all that. So anything that you have to, this is very obvious. Whenever you have to pay, that's paid media, okay? Now, you have another section which is called own media. Obviously, your website is own media. When you do the search engine optimization, which is what we're learning here, the organic results that takes you to your website, that's also owned media, because even though it's organic, we'll talk about earn in a second. So the result is earn, okay, and we'll talk about earn in a second. But once you click it, because it's usually your website, then it's also part of the search engine optimization. Email, of course, is owned. If you develop an app or a widget, if you have a social network. So these are things that are owned by the company, okay? They're owned, and the customer interacts directly with these things that are owned by the company or the small business or so on. These are things that you have to pay a media company so that they can display your advertising, okay? Just like you have to pay magazines for print and TVs for TV ads, you have to pay Google, Facebook, Amazon, LinkedIn, whatever, to have your advertising. So this is paid, this is owned, and then you have something that is called earn. Now, earn is the most difficult one because this is generated by those people that have been affected by this media. So these are all the hashtags, or if somebody put a like or something becomes viral. So these are things that you don't pay for, but you earn them. You earn them as a result of your paid media and own media, okay? So the best example of one of the best examples of how good or how powerful earned media is, for example, Tesla, right? So Tesla doesn't, they don't spend any money on paid advertising. They have their own website, okay, and people who buy their cars, and they have their own blog and Twitter account. I mean, Elon Musk sends a tweet, okay, and basically all the advertising that Tesla gets is earned. You go to YouTube and you put Tesla, and there is thousands of people that all they do is talk about Tesla all day long, okay? And those people get followed, okay? And some of them make money because if you put if you put a video on YouTube, you can earn advertising money. So this is interesting because some people are paying these people to talk about Tesla. So this is the most difficult type of media because this is something that is really, really hard to get it earned. Another one that is really good at this is GoPro. So GoPro has thousands of people that all do is post stuff on all the different social media about and then about things that they film with GoPro, or tutorials, or this. So all that stuff is earned. Okay, so these are the 3 big buckets, and as it says here, you know, when you're working on your social media, sorry, on your digital media strategy, you should be working with all of these. Paid media, which is what we're focused on, is probably, I would say, the easiest one to control, okay? Because if you pay for advertising, your advertising is going to, it's going to be posted. But if you rely only on paid media, then you're going to have a huge marketing budget and it may not be profitable. So you need to have all of these interacting. You have your paid media, which is sending people to your own media, websites, your Facebook page, and so on. And then with things like social networks, you're hoping or you're trying to get people to talk about you so it becomes viral and you start getting a lot of the earned media. Okay. All right. So this is a concept that I think is very important to understand about how the whole digital media world works. So we're going to go back to section 2. There were a couple of things that I wanted to go over again. So search engine results, okay? This is basically how many results come up. So, there is something in your, I think it was in one of the articles in PathStream. Obviously, I don't know if you already are in section 2 reading your articles, but there is a saying that that you can hide a dead body on page number 2 of a search. So in other words, and nobody will find it. So in other words, people usually don't go, when you do a search, most people don't go beyond the first page. If you're on the second or the third page, you're out of luck. So being on that first page is critical, right? So this is very, very important. We talked about very clearly which ones are paid results and which ones are organic results, okay? Now, something that is very, very important is that, one of the obvious advantages of the paid is that you can be one of the first ones, and that's going to be the first one that comes up. But organic results are probably more important because organic, that gives you credibility, right? So usually when you do a search, and again, I don't know about you, I think because I teach this stuff and I'm so involved in all this stuff. Usually when I see one that says ad, I almost ignore it because I know that it's a paid ad. And I know that this one, which is organic, is probably going to be a lot more relevant than this one because these are the people who are paying for advertising. And these people are not necessarily paying for advertising. They could be paying for advertising. So here you have, Chewy, which is, well, it's not one of the ones that appear here, but typically Chewy, when you do dog treats like we did last time, is one of the first ones to appear. So, so this is also very important as a pay result. The good thing about the pay results is that if you don't have enough content or if your website is not really well known and because here is usually the big ones, right? Chewy, PetSmart, Petco. So these are the big 3. If you have a small business or your Blue Buffalo dog treats, you're not going to appear in that first page or among those top 3 in the organic results. So you have to figure out a way to get ahead of them. And the only way to do that is by doing paid advertising. So bottom line is when you're a small business, you almost, it's kind of unfair. If you're a small business, you have less money, but you need the paid advertising more than the big companies because the big companies are going to appear first in the organic results. Well, it also depends what you put in your search. So dog treats is very general. If I would have put here, for example, organic dog treats, okay, then maybe you would have one of the specialty come first, okay. So So again, there is organic and then PPC. Remember that PPC stands for pay-per-click. So basically, this is because it's called like that because when you click on this, you have to pay. So that's why it's called pay-per-click. Okay, the other thing that is important is that, you know, so you have the search engine. When you think about search engine optimization, okay, it's again, everything that has to do with optimizing so that you can bump at the beginning and that people find you easily. So that's all the stuff that you're doing, right? To have search advertising is a little bit different. Search advertising is the advertising. So it depends more on how much you're willing to spend and also how you develop, obviously how you develop the advertising. We're learning that it's not just about paying, it's also how you design it. So this is, a lot of people think that, oh, these people are just paying more and that's why they're always there. Well, Dr. Dalton's Premium, you know, they are not paying more than Chewy, but they have done a really good job in their advertising, and that's one of the reasons they appear first. Because if you remember, and we're going to have a whole section on that, this is like a bidding process, an auction process. And it's not based just on who pays more. It's a combination of many variables. How much you pay and how relevant it is. Okay. Search engine. Well, this is very obvious. You know that there is several search engines. The biggest ones are Google and Bing. I didn't know Bing. I don't know. Somebody acquired Yahoo, and I thought Yahoo was its own company. I think now they're joining forces because Google is so big that everybody else is kind of like, you know, joining forces. Okay, so let's hopefully let's see if this video plays. This is a little frustrating. Sometimes these videos play when I'm doing it on Blackboard. Sometimes they don't. You have. Okay.
This is Search Engine Optimization, explained by Common Craft, in collaboration with Search Engine Land. Imagine for a minute that you're a librarian, but not a normal one. You're a librarian for every book in the world. People depend on you every day to find the exact book they need. How do you do it? You need a system. You need to know what's inside every book and how books relate to each other. Your system needs to take in a lot of information and spit best answers for a patron's questions. It's not an easy job. Search engines like Google and Bing are the librarians of the internet. Their systems collect information about every page on the web so they can help people find exactly what they're looking for. And every search engine has a secret recipe called an algorithm for turning all that information into useful search results. Now, if you own a website, search results matter. When your pages have higher rankings, they help more people find you. The key to higher rankings is making sure your website has the ingredients search engines need for their recipes. This is called search engine optimization, or SEO. As it turns out, most of the big ingredients are known. Let's take a look. First, words matter. Search engines account for every word on the web. This way, when someone searches for shoe repair, the search engines can narrow results to only the pages that are about those words. Second, titles matter. Each page on the web has an official title. You may not ever see it because it's in the code. Search engines pay a lot of attention to page titles because they often summarize the page like a book's title. Third, links between websites matter. When one web page links to another, it's usually a recommendation, telling readers this site has good information. A web page with a lot of links coming to it can look good to search engines. But some people try to fool the search engines by creating or buying bogus links all over the web that point to their own website. Usually, search engines can detect when a site has a lot of them, and they account for it by giving links from trustworthy sites more weight in the recipe. Fourth, the words that are used in links matter too. If your web page says Amazon has lots of books, and the word books is linked, search engines can establish that Amazon.com is related to the word books. This way, when someone searches for books, that site will rank well. Lastly, search engines care about reputation. Sites with a consistent record of fresh, engaging content and growing numbers of quality links may be considered rising stars and do well in search rankings. These are just the basics, and the recipes are refined and changed all the time. Good SEO is about making sure your website has great content that's supported by the ingredient.
So I like this video very much because it talks about something that a lot of people don't realize. So everybody knows that to find something on the internet, the words in the website like shoes and all that those matter. But the titles also matter, and the titles meaning in your website. So the design of the website can be the difference between people finding it and not finding it, because Google is basically going to the website's code, if you will, and then trying to identify what are the things that, so for example, cameras, this is a good example. It's also a good example because photography is my hobby, so it's an area that I know about. So if I'm looking for a particular camera, let's say I'm searching for the newest GoPro, the GoPro 9 that just came out, right? Well, if you have a website or a store that sells it and it has a title that says GoPros, for example, it's probably going to find it a lot quicker than those that don't. So titles really matter. Also the links. So one of the things, word links and links that makes people go to a lot of websites is when other people refer to that website. So still talking about cameras. So I have a YouTube page where I do some tutorials on photography, and there is a particular tutorial that I did about 10 years ago about a particular camera, and that video has almost 1 million views. And the reason why it has so many views is because I didn't realize until I did a Google once about that camera that there are many websites that make reference to that video and they put links to it. So this is the reason why, whenever that camera is being searched, my video always comes number one, and I never have paid or done anything with that video. Unfortunately, I'm not making money on that video because when I first posted it, since it was so much about Nikon, they didn't allow me to advertise. But anyway, the point is I'm trying to explain to you how the links work, okay? And then reputation, if you have a website where a lot of people are going all the time, like like a big company like Walmart or whatever, or it doesn't have to be as big as Walmart, but let's say it's a store that has a lot of reviews and it has a lot of comments and a lot of visits. That's how you build reputation. So all those things are important. Most people think only about the keywords, and as we saw in this video, that's not the case. Okay, let's see. By the way, if anybody has any questions, just raise your hand and let me know. Okay, so the other thing is, again, when you're designing your website. So this is the website of this financial institution, right? Or bank. So this is kind of this is the tree of how they organize, or the website hierarchy. This is the technical term, of how their website is organized. Okay, you can see that almost anything that you search on the internet has its own. So these are like titles, about us. So these are the things on the top. Is like when you open the website, you have one page for banking accounts, and within banking accounts you have one checking account, student savings. So these are all titles within a page. And there is, in this particular website, there is essentially 4 big sections. So the structure of the website and the hierarchy is how deep it goes, is very, very important. The advantage is that now, and this is important because a lot of small businesses, if you start helping some of the small businesses with this, you're going to find out that probably their biggest issue is their website. It's really poorly structured. And, number one, there's people obviously do this for a living. I don't know WordPress or those things to design websites, but on my website, my photography website, okay, Latoria, if you want to ask a question, please. So you're having problem with your sound? Okay. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you, Professor.
Keep in mind, Latoria, keep in mind that depending on your internet connection, that affects the quality sometimes of the sound. On the other hand, don't forget that this class is being recorded. So you can always, go back with the recording. Okay, so I forgot where I was. Anyway, if you're giving advice to a small business, chances are that their website, some of them may not even have a website, but if they have a website, that it may not be very well structured. So in your case, think about this hierarchy. You may not know how to specifically do all these things in the website, but the hierarchy is very important. Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. So in my photography website, I did my own website because it has a template. There is many templates now that allow you to do this and do websites relatively easy. Now, my website is a very simple website. All I do is show pictures and you can buy them. And I didn't even have to design the purchasing feature. It's already part of the template. So my point is, if you're going to start advising small businesses about this stuff, I would suggest that you have in your, kind of your back pocket or part of your services, different templates that they can use, and also try to meet or somebody who knows how to design websites. Now there's so many people that can do that and do that for a living, because this is, again, in the search engine optimization, most important thing is the website, right? The metadata. This is all the stuff that is part of the website. The hierarchy, if they have links. A lot of websites don't have links, but the bigger companies usually do have links. Like if you go to Amazon, I don't know if you noticed, but if you go all the way to the bottom, you have all these links of different things that and those links take you to different different websites. Now those are paid, but those are examples of links. Keywords, of course, that's all important, and this is part of a whole section of on-site search engine optimization, which is basically the changes that you make to your website to make your results appear higher. Then you have your offsite, which is basically any asset that is not in the main website. Okay, so blogs, social media. So that part is basically, so basically anything that has to do with your website is on-site. Everything that is off your website is the off-site. Okay, and that's also very important. So one of the mistakes that a lot of small businesses make, and I own small businesses, and I'm one of those people who made that mistake, is they think that by just having a website, that's it. You don't need to do anything else. No, you need to have a Facebook, you need to have an Instagram page, you need to have, if relevant, a blog, depending on what your business is. So if you have let's say you have a restaurant, then you need to be, now of course you need to be in all the delivery services, or at least some of the major ones. So the more the better, and it all helps, because Google basically, when you do a search for a restaurant, not only does it refer to the website, but it refers to Yelp, it refers to many different places where it appears. Now keep in mind that Google owns YouTube and Facebook owns Instagram. That's important because it's going to be very likely that they are going to refer you to one of their own vehicles, because a lot of times when you design your strategy with Google and you're incorporating YouTube, you do that as well. Same thing with Facebook and Instagram. So this is all the stuff that we're talking about in terms of the description. Now here, what's interesting about this example, okay, is that if an example of a really bad title for, let's say you're looking for scooters, right? And all of a sudden you have this information here and it doesn't get you anywhere because it doesn't have a good title tag, it doesn't have a good meta description. So this is the stuff that is right below the title. Most of you probably remember, or some of you maybe were not even born, but the original browsers, like for example AOL or Netscape, when you would search for something, you almost had to spend like an hour just like opening each one to see if it was relevant or not. It was really frustrating. I mean, it was a big help because obviously the internet was a breakthrough. It would take to find what you were looking for. Now you can find what you're looking for very easily, because with the description, with the metadata description or the meta description, you can see very quickly what it is. And most importantly, you want to also give the customer a reason to open your site. So you put things like free shipping. This has become very standard now. Almost everybody has free shipping with $50 minimum purchase. But anyway, it has to be very useful, because otherwise, if you don't design it correctly, what you're going to have is something like this, that basically doesn't tell you anything, or doesn't even give you a reason to open this. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here? So you have external links. So when we're talking about the links from other websites, these are very important. You have external links that go from a page on your website to another website. So you may have links on your own website, and then you have inbound links, which are the ones that come to your website. Okay, so you have all these different types of links that are important. Some are to build relationships, some are to drive traffic, some might be to promote your company brand. So this whole area of links, again, helps helps your website become more important. Okay, now we're gonna watch another video. Now this gentleman here, he is considered like the guru of digital marketing. I mean, he, like for example, financial channels like CNBC or Bloomberg, whenever they need like an expert, they basically invite him. So this gentleman, Patel, whenever you see a video of him or something, he really is an authority, because there's a lot of people on the internet that have videos about digital. This guy, he's really.
Some people say you have to do SEO. Some people say you have to do paid advertising. Which one is better?
Neil Patel.
You know what? Not only am I going to go over that today, the answer is not what you're going to expect. Hey everyone, I'm Neil Patel, and today I'm going to go over the difference between paid advertising and SEO. Which one's better? Which one sucks? Why should you be leveraging any of them?
I see the video and the audio is not synced very well.
If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe to this channel. That way, as I publish more content like this, you'll get notified. So let's get started with paid advertising. There's 4 main pros of paid advertising. 1, it can scale up as quick as you want. As you're willing to spend more money, you get more traffic. You start a paid advertising campaign, you get that traffic today. 2, you can target any region that you want. With paid advertising, if you only do business in California, you can only do ads just in California. If you do business in a specific city, you can also have your ads only show up within that city. That's the beautiful part about paid advertising. 3, you can leverage day parting. Day parting isn't common. Most people aren't familiar with this and they're not using this. But if your business is only around from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and let's say you're in the B2B industry and you're looking for phone calls, why would you want to pay for ads at 6 p.m.? Because if someone comes to your website and they try calling you, no one's going to be there to answer it. With day parting, it allows you to pick what hours you want your ads to show up. The last thing you want to do is be spending money during times that you're not in business. The 4th thing, and this is my favorite part about paid ads, is you can be very aggressive with your landing pages. With SEO, typically pages that rank on the top of Google are very long in content and they have roughly 2,000 words. With pay-per-click, if your landing page has 2,000 words, people aren't really going to convert into a customer or a lead or a sale. They're probably going to read your content. That's not what you want. You want them to buy. And that's the beauty of pay-per-click. You can have a very aggressive landing page that focuses on your service, your offer, your product, and you can get people to convert much higher from a percentage of how many visitors you gain to how many customers than you can from SEO. Now, before I get into the advantages of SEO, if any of you guys leverage paid advertising, just leave a comment below with yes. I'm just curious to see how many of you guys are spending money on paid ads. With SEO, there's a few advantages. 1, even if you slow down on SEO, you can keep getting more traffic over time. That's a beautiful part. With paid advertising, the moment you stop, so does your traffic. With SEO, if you slow down, all that traffic that you built up doesn't go away. You can still maintain it and get it. 2, SEO traffic is free. And here's what I mean by free. Yes, it does take time or energy, or you may have to pay some people to help with link building or content, but it's free because it's so much cheaper. And in general, you can do SEO yourself. You don't have to pay an agency or a firm to help you with SEO. You can learn it yourself, you can do it yourself, and over time you'll notice that your traffic goes up. And the 3rd big benefit is majority of people, when they perform a search, click on the organic listings. If you disagree with that, leave a comment and say no. And I know most of you aren't going to disagree because the data shows the majority of the traffic goes to organic listings over paid listings. Now, you're probably wondering, which one should you do? Well, with pay-per-click, you'll find that you can scale up and down much quicker. With SEO, it takes a lot longer. With paid advertising, you can control the type of audience that comes to your landing page. With SEO, you can't. You pretty much get a mix of everything. It could be certain people from the United States, specific city that you may not be selling your services in. It could be in Canada if you're not operating in Canada, or India, whatever region it may be. You can't necessarily control that as closely as you can with pay-per-click. Also with SEO traffic, it's not guaranteed. Algorithms can slap you. Once you're doing well, that traffic doesn't always last. Yes, you can maintain a portion of it, but it may go up or down and you could get slapped from the algorithm. And yeah, with paid advertising, you can get pulled away as well and slapped, but it's very rare because you're giving them money. You'll also find that paid scales really easily, while SEO takes a lot of time. With SEO, you got to write a lot of content, either yourself or you got to hire writers or contractors, whatever it may be. And even when you do that, you won't see the results right away. It can take 3 to 6 months before you see some results, but it usually takes over a year before the results start kicking in. So now let's go to the ultimate question. Is it SEO or is it paid? Which one should you be leveraging? Well, the answer is both. If they're both profitable, why wouldn't you leverage them? If paid advertising is profitable, that means SEO for sure is going to be profitable. You want to leverage not only paid and SEO, you want to be leveraging any marketing channel that's profitable and works that you can keep scaling. So when people say, oh, SEO is better or paid advertising better, it doesn't really matter. Leverage all the channels that are profitable for your business. Back in the day, you could just leverage SEO and build a business, or you could just leverage paid. But now there's so many businesses popping online, it's so competitive that you have no choice but to leverage all the channels out there, from Google AdWords to Facebook ads to SEO to content marketing to social media marketing to email marketing to push notifications. The list keeps going on and on. That's the only way you're going to succeed is if you have an omni-channel approach in which you're leveraging all the channels. So now you have it. Which one's better? It doesn't matter. You want to leverage all of them.
So he mentioned a term at the end that is now used a lot, omni-channel. So it means now, businesses are basically saying, well, I'm going to focus on all the channels. And this applies very much to the situation that we have today, because a lot of the physical stores, if they don't have an online strategy or delivery or sell via the internet, they may not survive. And for big companies that were not able to make that switch early enough or build the infrastructure, many of them went out of businesses. So Walmart, they realized, that Amazon was taking a lot of their business away, and they put all of their efforts on building the online e-commerce capability. I think they had, obviously nobody could anticipate that it would be with this pandemic so crucial. But this term omni-channel is basically, and there's omni-channel agencies that take care of making sure that you're in all the different channels, all the social media, all the digital media channels. So basically, some of the things that he said that are really, really important is, with paid advertising, I'm not going to go into detail into everything he says because we need to go to the next section, but with paid advertising, essentially you control. You have control because you know that if you pay and you do it right, the description and all that, even though your business may be a week old, you will appear as one of those ads. But with the search engine optimization, meaning the organic results, if you're very, very new, you're not going to appear. As a matter of fact, he said that it may take a year before you appear in those organic results. And some of them may never appear in that, he said, the holy grail, which is page 1. So that's why a lot of times you have to do the paid if you want people to find you. Now, one of the things that is interesting that he kind of mentioned it, but one of the reasons why we work together is because at the beginning, when you're trying to, and we'll look at very soon the marketing funnel and the customer journey, when you're trying to build awareness and you need to invest a lot of money on people finding out that you exist, you may use a lot of the paid advertising. But as people know you more and more, then your paid advertising is really helping you to become a lot more relevant in the organic portion of it. So basically, they kind of work together because the paid helps people go to your website, and the more people that go to your website, the higher the organic, findings will be. Okay. So now we're going to go to section number 3. Which is the first section where you actually have to, so in terms of the roadmap of your assignments, keep in mind that your assignments is basically doing all the different parts that are required to do an ad. So here, part A is the campaign strategy and structure. Okay. Section 4, which is part B, is keywords. If somebody wants to say something, raise your hand. If not, please put your microphone on mute because I can hear background noise. So, thank you. Section 5 is the search ads. Section 6 is the display ads, bids and budgets, and then the final is the optimization. Okay, so right now we are on starting section 3, which is where it's a campaign structure. So let's look at this video because this is a really good video. I use this video for other classes too.
Inspiration has many sources, and I bring a lot of things from my childhood. I like drawing, I like creating things and then seeing them build. That's something I enjoy since I was a kid. My name is Roberto Gil. My business is Casa Kids. When I started doing furniture, I wasn't doing so much of my own designs because before the web, I didn't know how to reach customers. So I was doing work for architects and interior designers, and it wasn't what I wanted to do. AdWords has completely changed my business. Now, people look for children's furniture, and they find me. And if you're smart picking the words, they're gonna find you quicker. When I started using AdWords, the traffic in my website went up like right away and increased sales by more than 30%. That's like 10 extra bunk beds and a lot more kids enjoying our furniture. Now I work directly with customers and I'm giving kids rooms that they enjoy, that they love. And I know how to market my products in a way that you can quantify the results. I know the company will keep growing. It wasn't always easy, but it's important to have aspirations and dreams, and the web has made my dream come true. I feel I'm just starting.
So I love this video because it shows an example of a small business, right? And even though he was very good at what he did, the type of customers that he was getting were not the type of customers that he wanted. Clearly, he's passionate about designing and building furniture for kids, and he was getting something completely different. And because the way he organized his campaign and the ad structure and all that, he was able to communicate and get the customers that he wanted. And most importantly, those customers couldn't find him before, and now they can. So this is, again, this is an example that I think is a little bit exaggerated because he goes from not knowing almost like how to be on the web to being almost an expert on designing all the campaigns. But the point is, you can see here the whole process. And this is a video maybe we would go back eventually because it shows everything. It shows how he's doing the keywords, the structure, and so on. So this is a very, very good video. Okay, one of the things that is important to differentiate is that when you start at the strategic level, okay, you need to differentiate between what's your goal and what's your strategy. So for example, my goal could be, and your goal can be very specific. Your goal could be, I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. Well, that's my goal. That's not my strategy. My strategy could be, well, I'm going to run, or I'm going to swim, or going to, bike, exercise bike. That's my strategy. That's how I'm going to achieve my goal. Now, the difference where most people get confused is the difference between strategy and plans. And even in this, in this book and all this stuff, even they confuse it. if you confuse it, it's not that big of a deal. The big difference is the plans are this specific. So I'm going to go, my strategy is to, let's say, is run. My plan is I'm going to wake up every morning at 6 a.m. and run on the park and all that. So that's kind of your plan, your specifics, what you're going to do. So in the real marketing world, for example, you may say, well, I need to, I need to introduce a new product and I need to build brand awareness. And your strategy may be, okay, to build brand awareness, I'm going to do a heavy up. A heavy up is called when you do advertising, but at a very high level. So let's say your normal level of advertising that you can afford is 100. Let's call it 100, $100,000 or whatever. A heavy up means that you're going to do 3 times more because you need to build that brand awareness. So that's kind of your objective, right? The how is going to be, well, I'm going to do TV advertising, I'm going to do social media, and so on and so on. And then you say, okay, and what is your plan, which is in the advertising world called the media plan. The media plan is the specifics. Well, I'm going to spend so much on television, so much on print, so much, and I'm going to be these TV channels, and I'm going to be on this social media. And then you can go to the next level, which is the very specifics of how you're going to do your plan. So think of it almost as a hierarchy. But the most important thing that you want to differentiate is between your goals and your strategy. Now, the reason why I posted this particular one is because this is a very good checklist, okay, of what typically are the goals of a campaign. Build brand awareness, achieve product market fit, drive revenue. This one is almost, this is an objective everybody has. Obviously, you want to generate sales. Now, within revenue, sometimes you need, revenue is basically your sales. The units times the price, so that's your gross sales, which is defined as revenue, okay? Now, in order to do that, you need to generate leads, meaning people who are potential customers, so they find out about you, and you need to convert those leads. So this word, conversion, convert, if you haven't heard of this word is very, very important that you learn it, because conversion, you're going to hear, conversion means when you basically have converted the sale, you've closed the sale. So basically is when the person hit, if you're buying online and you already do the submit payment, so that means, you already paid and you already bought it and you're getting your confirmation, that's your conversion. So the lead is when you get to the website, and we'll go into a little bit more of that because there is a whole structure how to think about that. So again, yes, Janelle?
I have a question for when you pay for the advertisement. Is that done like monthly, like annually, or how does that work for when you're paying for the advertisement?
No, it depends on the advertising. So, for example, the pay-per-click, which is what we've been talking about, basically, it is what the reason why it's called pay-per-click is because every time somebody clicks, you pay. So the customer the advertiser pays. So that's why it's called pay-per-click. If you're doing other types of advertising, you basically may have different ways of paying. You may have payments. So in the television industry, the way it used to be, basically, you had a media or an advertising agency that did what it was called the pre-sale with the TV channels, and then you would pay them as they advertise, as they put the spots. So there is many different structures. But essentially, what we're looking at, what this course is about, is mostly about the pay-per-click. So you basically, when you open your Google Ads account, they're probably going to ask you for a credit card number. I'm sure they are, or a bank account. And every time somebody clicks, they probably charge you monthly. But the bottom line is that it's being based on every click. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. So it's not like once they meet their goals, like they stop with like the advertisement.
Well, you can have many different models. But the way it works with, most of the digital media advertisers is basically the way I describe it to you. Now, big companies, may have different deals. So, Google and Facebook, they have customers that could be like you or me or small business owners. It's very different than if they have a customer like P&G. P&G spends hundreds of millions of dollars in advertising. So maybe they have a different structure for those customers that they have for small businesses.
So then it'll be the same thing like Under Armour or Nike.
Excuse me?
It'll be the same structure like for Under Armour or for Nike, like those kinds of big brands.
Yeah, I mean, they probably have very different types of deals. And the deals that they have is probably more based on volume. So, big companies, the way it works is, and I can tell you at least the way it worked when I used to work in P&G, is basically if you do certain amount of advertising, then you get a lot of free advertising. So that's the way it usually works.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about
All right, what's up, everyone? It's the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over the top PPC advertising networks that you can use for your business. So these all have self-serve platforms, they're PPC advertising channels, networks, whatever you want to call them, where you can reach customers basically who are looking to, or at least have shown some level of interest in what you're offering. So to go through them real quick, and then I'll kind of go through them in a little bit more detail. So first, Google AdWords, the largest PPC advertising network available. Bing Ads, very similar to Google AdWords, just smaller, not as many capabilities, but still a lot that you can do with Bing Ads. So Facebook ads, this includes Facebook, Instagram, Facebook Messenger, and the Audience Network. So all four of them, the whole entire Facebook network as a PPC advertising channel is incredible. So next is going to be Pinterest ads, promoted pins, definitely a great way to reach targeted customers. Another one, LinkedIn ads, so a lot of capabilities on LinkedIn, especially to reach professionals. And last but not least, Amazon advertising. So you can have sponsored products or you can target keywords. So a lot of options with Amazon advertising. So first we'll go through Google AdWords. So you can target keywords, you can run display advertisements. So they have an example here, the Treehouse Brothers. So if you're looking for a luxury treehouse in Connecticut, so something like that, you can always have your ad up in front of ready to buy customers. So we have a quick example here, PPC advertising agency. So when I type this in, the idea is that I'm looking for a PPC advertising agency.
So this particular gentleman who is speaking, he owns a PPC agency. So it's a pay-per-click agency. So he's describing the different types of networks, okay? Because everybody thinks always of Google and Facebook, but as you saw, there is other networks too.
At that time to run my advertisements. So these four companies are all bidding probably a lot on this keyword so that they can drive me to their website and I can convert as a customer. So PPC advertising agency, it's a great way. Any keyword that you type in here, you're going to see really relevant ads and then really relevant search results. But based just around the ads, this is one of the best ways to reach people as they're looking to buy things. So Bing Ads, very similar to Google AdWords. You can actually import your Google AdWords campaigns into Bing Ads. So they have a lot of the same capabilities. You can target keywords. The Bing network includes Microsoft, like Bing.com, any Microsoft search engine, Yahoo sites, so any Yahoo.com search, and also AOL sites, so any AOL.com search. So Bing powers a lot of searches. I think it's somewhere around 30% of the entire search volume is through the Bing network.
So this is what I was telling you about before. I guess I had heard it in this video. And because Google is so big, what Bing has done is they basically are collaborating with Yahoo and AOL. That way, when you do a search on Yahoo or on Edge with Microsoft or AOL, if some people still use it, you're basically in the Bing network.
Maybe it's a little bit lower or higher, somewhere around 30%. So you can target a keyword like office supplies, for example, and you see some different options here. So Quill, Uline, Staples, along with some shopping ads. So just a lot of options with ads, and you can see it's all highly relevant. If I'm typing office supplies in here, I'm obviously looking to buy that, so I can get people to come right to my website who are ready to buy. So Facebook advertising, so there's a ton of options with Facebook, and it's really interest behavior based. So Facebook has a ton of data on people based on the websites they visit, the products they buy, the pages they like on Facebook, all sorts of things. But Facebook is basically.
So this is very, very important, because even though this course is not so much about Facebook, there is another course on that. What's really interesting about Facebook, and you probably have noticed this, and when I'm saying Facebook, I'm talking about Facebook and Instagram, because they're the same company. If you're looking for something on Google, because you went to that website, Facebook knows. So that's why, even though Facebook and Google are competitors, let's say you're looking for shoes, all of a sudden you open your Facebook or you open your Instagram and you get an ad for shoes, and you say, how do they know? Now, the normal person doesn't know that Google and Facebook are competitors and all that, but I'm talking about as an advertiser. And basically it is because Facebook's capabilities are just amazing.
Almost every website on the internet is pixeled by Facebook.
And it's called Pixel.
To get more out there too, but with Facebook, so many websites are pixeled that Facebook's able to actually track everything you basically do on the internet, and you can create ads and target people who are highly interested in what you have to offer. So if I want to reach, horseback riders, if I want to reach people who are interested in investing.
So I'm going to try, okay, I cannot promise you, but my best friend and business partner, his niece works for Facebook, okay? I'm going to try to see if I can get her, well, it's a little bit hard at 8 a.m. in the morning. She's probably going to be either going to work or at work, but I'm going to try to get her to, attend one of our classes, or we'll set up a session.
It's all available on Facebook, and you can narrow it down by location, by age, different things like that. So we have a quick example here. So this is the example Facebook has always had, is Jasper's Market. So this is just a like page campaign. They also have ads like this where it's, we are now open downtown. Visit our website for 20% off today. People click through, visit your website. A lot of different ad options through Facebook. And the whole goal with Facebook is to drive results for what your goal is. If you're trying to drive sales, if you're trying to drive leads, if you want to drive traffic, whatever it is, you want to build your email list. Facebook has so many capabilities for that. Same with the videos, mobile apps. Facebook has so many capabilities, so you're really not limited at all. And you can always find an audience to reach that's going to be interested in what you have to offer. So Pinterest ads, probably a little bit more based around e-commerce websites, websites where people are buying and selling products. So that's kind of where Pinterest works a lot. In addition, recipe-based websites, DIY-based websites, craft-based websites. So there's a lot of options. Basically anything in the home is really good for Pinterest, but they also have a lot of other things too. I mean, if you have a marketing company, there's a lot of marketers that go on Pinterest because they have some pretty cool infographics, things like that. So regardless of what you're doing, you should try Pinterest. It's a great way to really drive targeted traffic to your website. We use Pinterest a lot for especially e-commerce websites. It's an incredible platform. Quick example here. So I just came up with Pinterest, typed in pendant lights. You can see there's an ad right here. So this Birch Lane fast and free shipping on pendants over $49. So whether you're looking for a statement piece, so this is a promoted ad. So I click through here. Great ad, actually. So anything over $49. Most pendant lights cost over $49. So basically, I know I'm going to get free shipping. Click through, browse, buy something. So right here, Overstock, 8 trendy lighting styles to brighten your home. So basically, they're incorporating content into their promoted pin strategy. So it's Overstock, promoted by Overstock. And I could see trendy lighting styles. So if I'm not sure what I want for my home, I can click through this. Great ad here as well. So Pinterest ads, a great PPC advertising platform. What we do on Pinterest is run a ton of campaigns at a very low price, and you could drive a ton of traffic. And the cool thing about Pinterest is you can keep driving organic traffic from your promoted pins, even after you pause your campaigns if you get enough engagement on them. So LinkedIn ads, definitely more of a professional business type advertising channel. So you're not going to come on here and really promote, your pots and pans for sale or your new recipes. I mean, you could try, but it's really better for driving leads towards your business.
So I own a business that is it's called relocation strategies is basically we do consulting for big companies need to basically move the whole operation from one place to another. And the reason why I'm bringing it up is because where we advertise the most is on LinkedIn. Because LinkedIn is really mostly for professional services firms, and you can target. So, for example, for us, it's very important to target commercial brokers. So we don't care about residential brokers, but commercial real estate brokers. So we can do that with LinkedIn. Or we can target commercial buildings, property managers. So you can be very specific. But then LinkedIn is also much more expensive. But for example, for a restaurant, a small business like that, it would not make any sense to advertise on LinkedIn. This is a very different type of network.
Trying to find new clients, trying to sell software. So different things like that. So I have a pretty cool article here. So it's actually just from July 24th, 2017, 10 examples of LinkedIn ads that totally crushed it. It's on the business LinkedIn website.
Right. So the other thing that appears a lot on LinkedIn, which is probably the best way to do it, is to have like an article on an interesting topic. So it's not so, it's not like buy my service or by my company or for my company. Is a little bit more of, okay, here is the best ways to do X thing. And then people say, okay, that's an interesting article. And you look at it and it's an advertisement, but it's in the form of like an article.
A shout out to Steve Kearns. It's a great article here. So it says Adobe breaks through with sponsored content. So you can see Adobe. It's kind of hard to see here, but you can see they have a marketing optimization survey. So people click it, download it, trying to figure out how to optimize their marketing budget. Adobe has a lot of products for that. So if I'm clicking through buying this, and I can see, if I go with Adobe, I might be able to save on my marketing budget this year and drive more. So that's kind of a great way with sponsored content. So another ad that I liked here, really, so it's lead forms. So this says IR locks down lead gens forms. This get the only Microsoft certified Skype for Business online network assessment tool for more info. So I click sign up, add my email address, whatever, and they start sending me information. So that's another example for LinkedIn. So they have a lot of options here with LinkedIn advertising. The one to note is LinkedIn tends to be a little bit expensive, but it's because you are able to reach business professionals. You're not just reaching some random person that is just browsing the internet. You don't go on LinkedIn kind of by accident. It's really for people who are looking for jobs, looking for opportunities to grow their business, so different things like that. Last but not least is Amazon. So you may not be familiar that Amazon has a huge advertising platform that's all over their website. So just to show you some examples of ads here. So if I type in coffee maker, usually if you type in almost anything up here, the top two results are going to be ads that are really highly rated. So you can target keywords in Amazon. So if I type in coffee maker, I get two different Keurig options here for sale. Also, if I keep scrolling down, so these are all just regular organic products that probably rank high because they have good reviews. But if I keep scrolling down to the bottom, all the way down to the bottom. Okay, so now they have sponsored links. So you can actually target basically what you're.
So this is what the links look like. So we talked about the links before. These are exactly what we're talking about on how to get a lot of traffic to your website. So it's basically a link, and obviously a lot of people go to Amazon. So if you click that link, then that's going to be those links that I was talking about.
Sure. If you put out this article here, 10 best coffee makers of 2018, Amazon is a great system where you can target people who are looking for coffee makers. So someone clicks here, 10 best coffee makers of 2018, reviews of the top coffee makers. If I click through, I'm going to go to this website, bestproducts.com. I don't know if it's going to be exactly /coffee makers, but you can kind of.
So here there is different links going on. So first you go to Amazon, and because you're looking for a coffee maker, you want to see, oh, interesting. I want to see which ones are the top, best coffee makers for the year. Let's say this was 2018. So you're going now to a website called bestproducts.com, right? So basically, this is a website that does reviews of different products, and they're doing coffee makers. Now, once you're in that website, and I haven't gone to that website, but I assume, let's say the top one is Keurig, okay? Well, I'm sure there is a link there to Keurig. So you can click there, Keurig. So you can see how each one may have a link for different things. And then when you go to the Keurig page, maybe you want to buy, I don't know, a specific pot for coffee, organic, whatever. And in the Keurig website, you may have a link to buy those pots, or a link for Walmart, or a link for anything. So all of these links are driving traffic to each other's websites.
Incorporate some of your content here on Amazon and actually drive ready to buy customers who are maybe not ready for, not ready to buy it right this second, but a pretty cool option here. So Amazon, definitely something to try. So just to recap them real quick, Google AdWords, the #1 PPC advertising channel available. If you're going to spend your money anywhere, spend it on Google. #2.
So on Amazon, because this is something that I have a lot of experience in. Because I teach entrepreneurship, something that is very important for small businesses is if you're going to sell on Amazon, which every small business that should, okay, you're probably going to have to do a sponsored ad. Because what happens, and you saw how it works in Amazon, so it's part of the search results. It's not so obvious like in Google where it has the ads on the top. It's kind of more like, okay, you're looking for coffee makers, and some of them are sponsored. Here you go. Okay, so you see this is sponsored by Keurig. Okay, these are all sponsored. So this is paid by Keurig. So imagine that you're a small manufacturer of coffee machines. Well, there is no way that on the organic search you're going to be in the top one. Or think again what we talked about before, that first page. So you may have to do sponsor. So for example, we were looking at a startup company that is selling a new medication that they've developed for pets. And it's for pet diarrhea. So one of the things that they did is they had to advertise. They sell on Amazon, but they had to advertise, because if you put pet or dog diarrhea on Amazon, you get 100 different products. The only way for them to stand out was to do the paid advertising. So that's how it works with Amazon. I think this is the last video we'll look at today, but again, these videos are very useful.
Hi guys, thanks so much for joining today's video of Ask the Expert. My name is Erin Sagan and I'm on the customer success team here at WordStream. I'll be walking you through today's episode. So today we're going to be focused on what is the difference between the search and the display networks. So many of my clients think that they work similarly and they try and apply the exact same strategy when working with both networks. But the reality is it's like comparing apples and oranges. There's no way you can apply the same strategy to both networks. So it's really, really important to understand how each of these networks work, and you need to think about what strategy is going to be best for you, which network best fits your marketing needs. Let's start by talking about the search network, because that's the most common one that people are thinking about when they're running a PPC account. The cool thing about the search network is you're targeting an active searcher. So somebody is coming to AdWords and they are actively looking for your products or your services. Then you have the opportunity to kind of serve up your ad right there for them. It's kind of like a perfect storm, right?
By the way, this person, she works for this particular company which sells PPC software. So here you go. She's doing advertising, by teaching about digital advertising.
You have these people who are excited about what they're looking for, ready to make a purchase or check something out, and you're giving them an ad that's relevant and specific to what they're searching for. That's how the search network works. I recommend it for new PPC advertisers. Start with the search network. I also recommend it for people who really need to easily attribute the advertising directly with the result. So you're going to see direct conversions from the search network. Now let's talk about the flip side of that, which is the display network. The display network is focused on a more passive searcher. So think about your day-to-day. You probably visit, maybe online news sites, blogs. Personally, I attempt to read the news every morning. And as I'm reading the news, oftentimes I'll see ads alongside the news story that I'm reading. These can be image ads or text ads. And 9 times out of 10, even though I register them, I'm not redirecting my attention from the news to that ad and clicking on it. Instead, I'm more registering it and going about my day, unless it really interrupts me, and then I might think of clicking on it. So as you can see,
so on that particular example, that was not a Google ad. That was an ad by BBC network. So think of BBC as like the CNN of the UK, of United Kingdom. So basically, that advertisement for Verizon, which was blinking there, Verizon paid BBC to have that ad.
So as you can see, with the display network, that searcher isn't necessarily in the mood to search for your products. They're not actively looking for them, but you can do a great job of branding yourself by ensuring that you're all over the display network. People are seeing your ads and recognizing your company. So when you think about the display network, you're not going to see a lot of direct results, probably not a ton of clicks and conversions. But what you are going to see is people are starting to get to know your brand. So as you can see, the big difference between these two networks are an active and a passive searcher, and you need to make the decision as which searcher you want to work with first. If you guys have any questions about this, we'd be more than happy to dive in a little bit more depth to either of these networks. We're also happy to answer any of your other questions through Ask the Experts. To submit a question to us, all you need to do is comment below.
So you will see in your when you do your work in this section, there is a really good example of there is a handyman and this business that sells like women's purses. The handyman is what he needs is more of your traditional search type of advertising where it clearly shows the name, the service, how to contact him, and he has some sort of an incentive for you to click that. The one that is selling purses, for her is better the display network, because the display, you're going through some page, maybe you didn't search for purses, maybe you search, so that's what he said, it's not active searching, but it's relevant, and it has pictures of all these purses, and that calls the attention of the target consumer, and that's how you click on that. So there are different types, and there's advantages to both. It's very similar to, it kind of reminds me in the traditional media that if you have a product that is very visual, then it's very important to do, TV or print. If it's not so visual and people understand what it is, then you may be able to get away with radio. So again, going back to the, let's say, handyman or let's say electrician, it doesn't need to be visual. People know what an electrician does. So radio, or in the case, your traditional way of finding that service may be enough. But if you're selling a product that is very visual, then that's where the display network makes more sense. Okay, now we're going to shift to more to where your kind of what your assignment is. Okay, I'm going to go over a few things, okay, without going over in detail to the assignment, but you will see that is the assignment that you have to do is relatively simple. It's basically about creating a campaign structure, okay? And there are different ways to create a campaign structure. So in this, I use this example. This is a system. This company has financial services, and well, they have all these type of services. And basically, it's called Workday. That's the name of the company. So that's what decided the account to be. So think of it as the highest level. The account is Workday. Now they have two major targets. So you can have different campaigns, and they decided we're going to have one campaign targeted to large enterprises and another campaign for medium enterprises. Why? Because large enterprises are very different than medium or small businesses. Okay, so for let's talk about the small business. So for a small business, Workday, well, we can help them with their payroll. Okay, so maybe have some sort of simple payroll software package so you can run your payroll. And then it has some sort of a human capital management, small cloud platform, business planning, financial management. So this is all for the small, medium enterprises. So that means, again, thinking about that website, if I'm a small enterprise, so I click here, it's gonna take me to a very different part of the of the website that if I'm a large enterprise, and it's going to be a different type of campaign. Now, it doesn't mean that it could not be payroll. The payroll side may not be the same for small and large, but it may be that the payroll system for small businesses and medium businesses is different than what is required for a large company. So within payroll, there may be a section for. So think of the campaign structure in a hierarchy form. Kind of like the company, so they decided to do the campaign by target group. So they have two big customer target groups, large businesses and small businesses. And then the ad group, they have for each service, they have a different ad group. Okay, so this is an example of how to create a campaign structure. Now, campaign structures can be created in many different ways. Okay, so for example, this was two big targets. Okay, here this particular diner, okay, they are in different cities. So they said, okay, we're gonna do a campaign that is for Chicago and one for New York. So they have, and then within each one, then they have two different services, takeout and dine in. Okay, so and they're different because maybe the menu for Chicago is different than for New York, or it may be the same menu. But the point is that you're doing different campaigns for each of the different ad groups. Now you can organize your campaigns, okay, depending on which stage of the marketing funnel you're in. Now, I'm gonna, this is a very important concept, the marketing funnel. So I'm gonna explain to you what is the marketing funnel. So for now, forget about, campaign structure. Marketing funnel is something that applies, okay? So marketing funnel, and the way why it has the shape of a funnel is because think of this as the number of people that are reached or engaged at each of the different levels. So for example, let's say I have this product that I want people to find out about. So the first level is to create awareness. So think of yourself in the shoes of a potential customer. So at the beginning, you're aware of the product. So many people may be aware of the product, and this is a stage where a lot of that advertisement that we talked about gets about. And a lot of times you don't even click because you just see it. You know there is something about a particular store, a particular service. So awareness is when you find out about a particular product or a particular service. Now, if you're interested, then you may click, and it's smaller because you have here, say you were able to reach with your awareness campaign, you're able to reach 10 million people. Out of those 10 million people, 1 million people are interested in you. So this may be they actually, click your link. So that's how they showed interest. There is an interest about, what are you about? Okay. Now, once they are in your web page and they are going through the different stages within your web page, this is the consideration. So here they're considering if they're going to buy it or not buy it. So maybe here they're comparing the prices, they're comparing the different products, they're comparing the features. So again, they find out about you, they saw and they clicked it, they go into the website. Now, there is something called bounce rate. A lot of people, when they go to the website, say, oh, no, not interested anymore. They go to another website. That's called bounce rate. And when we do the Google Analytics, you'll see how they measure all that stuff. So again, 10 million people, 1 million people are interested. And out of those 1 million people, you had 100,000 people that are actually considering to buy. And a lot of the expertise and science of e-commerce websites go here. How do you get somebody from interest to consider buying to actually buying? So you see this term, we talked about it before, conversion. This is when the sale gets made. So I finally made the sale. So the person went to your website about it, they like it, they click buy now or whatever, And here's where the sale was made. So you went from 100 million to 1 million to 100,000 and maybe 10,000, okay, bought your product. So you see, that's why it's a funnel, because it starts with a very broad audience. The people who actually buy is a smaller audience. Now, after you buy the product, okay, your goal as a marketer or as a business owner or as a manager is to retain those customers. So that's why the funnel starts going wider again. And the reason why it gets wider is because you sold 10,000 people, let's say this week, you sold to 5,000 people the previous week and 1,000 the previous week. So you have a lot of people that have bought it on a cumulative basis, and you're trying to maintain as many of them as possible as loyal customers. And you have different strategies to keep them loyal. That's why there is now one of the business models that is most popular is the subscription-based model, because the subscription-based model keeps people, you retain those people. So, Netflix or Amazon Prime or everybody now is on subscription model. And a lot of times they'll offer you the product for, it's called, oh my God, I forgot. Is freemium or free premium? I remember the term. Basically, it means that you get the product for free, but then as you add more services, then you go into the subscription model. So, for example, Zoom. You can get Zoom for free, but it only allows you to hold a video conference for 40 minutes and, I don't know, maximum of like 10 people. If you want the premium, then it goes from, then you have to pay. So again, there is all these strategies to retain. Now, the ultimate goal is that the people that are loyal start recommending your product. And this is the Tesla model, right? So all these people or the GoPro model, the ones who are constantly talking about the great experience of your product, or even better, advertising the product and advertising it. And this is where you can be very clever, like GoPro. GoPro has all these contests where you upload videos all the time, and people watch those videos, and they're basically, advertising. People are advertising the product, and then advocacy is also word of mouth. So a lot of people, in the case of Tesla, let's say you are thinking of buying an electric vehicle, but you're kind of unsure, you don't even know where to start, and you find out that somebody has a Tesla. Well, that person is, will be probably very happy to tell you how great his or her Tesla is, because they are, the Tesla users are known for being really good advocates. Or an iPhone, people are happy to tell you why they like so much the particular product. So the point is that you can divide your campaigns based on the different stages. On products, location, audiences, and goals. The goals meaning the different stages. So you can have an awareness campaign, okay? And again, this is why are they different? Because a person who doesn't know anything about your product, you probably want to communicate a different message than somebody who knows about your product. So again, think of the Tesla example. A person who has never bought an EV or has no idea about the EVs, that's the awareness campaign, right? So this is the whole strategy for those people is to find out kind of at a high level all the advantages of having an EV. Okay, and that campaign, a lot of that campaign can be in places like YouTube, where you see demonstrations how great the product is. In those campaigns and those type of advertising messages, you don't see much about pricing because they're just trying to make you aware, right? And once you see all the benefits and you're aware, then oh, interesting. Let me click on that Tesla website and see, what are the different models that they have, or how does it compare? So here you're expressing interest. Now, the looking at the different models is more, again, these are not like perfectly divided. You may be a little bit in between awareness and interest. You may be a little bit between interest and consideration. The bottom line is that it's an evolution. You go from being aware to being interested to considering buying. So here's where you're looking at the different models and the different prices. And then here is where the sale is made. Okay? So this is a very, very important concept. And we're going to look at this concept later into the second most important concept, which is the customer journey. I'm not going to do the customer journey today because it's not part of this section, and it's a section where I'm going to spend a lot of time discussing, but I want to make sure that you understand the marketing funnel. So if somebody has a question or is something that they're not clear about, this is a good time to ask, because this is very, very important. Go ahead, Irene.
Hello, Professor. Good morning. My question was about something else. It doesn't have anything to do with this model, actually. It goes back to, so I can wait until the end if you ask.
Yes, because we only have, I think, 10 minutes left for the class, and I still have 2 more slides important. So yeah, I prefer you wait for it.
Thank you.
Okay, the other thing that is very important, and I noticed that it's not on your section, but it's mentioned on the video of your assignment. So I want to go over it right now, because this is, again, there are things that are interesting to know, and there are things that are critical to know. And it's the persona. The persona is, imagine of the person who would be ideal, the ideal person to buy your product. So this is the person that has those characteristics to buy your product. So it goes beyond your target. So in the traditional marketing world, it used to be my target are going to be women between 18 and 35 who belong to the ABC socioeconomic group. So very demographic. That's the way it used to be. Now you have to go way beyond it, because you have so many, Google and Facebook has so much information about the behavior of different people that you can target people based on their behavior. So one company that is really good at this is Starbucks. So you go to a Starbucks and you see people of all demographics, all different age groups, all different, genders, and maybe even different, many different incomes. So Starbucks is very focused on behavior because they have a very, very broad demographic. So the demographics is not very useful. So now there is 2 points of view of a persona. In my entrepreneurship class, and I know some of you are taking my entrepreneurship class, the persona needs to be a real person. This is the opinion of some people, that it needs to be a real person. You need to find a person who is really, really that person. This person is a real person. In my mind, I think that's not practical, because you're trying to find that ideal person, and then you're going to find another person. I think the persona, in my opinion, is a theoretical ideal person. You don't need to find that person, but it should be very much based on, my definition is, what is the most likely persona or consumer profile to buy my product. So if you had, let's say you ask 10 people and you offer them a particular product, the ones that are going to be like the most enthusiastic, the ones who want to buy it right away, and those are kind of your persona. Okay, those are your most likely to buy. So in this particular case, budget conscious. Oh, and you may have different personas, and you can call them different, because let's say, your store has different products, and you have one target that are the budget conscious, and one that is, let's say, the luxury products and so on. So the persona here, budget conscious Beth. Now this is for a company that sells electric toothbrushes. Is one of the examples in another digital marketing course that I do. So she is, so I'm telling you this because otherwise it won't make sense, some of the stuff that is here. So she is a type of persona, or name of the persona is budget conscious, background. She is a nurse at a hospital. Here are demographics. Wants to know if she will have affordable food every week to fit in with her grocery budget. So these are people who are very much, looking closely at their budget. And the challenges, they will tell you, is I've had a hard time staying within my grocery budget every week. There are often hidden fees that come along with delivery. So these are things that they don't like. So here's somebody who's very budget conscious, and I think we all are very annoyed when there are hidden fees for anything that we buy. So this is something that, a common objection. And by the way, this is based not on what you think the ideal person is. This could be based on, let's say you did, again, for our entrepreneurship class, we teach that you should interview 10 people, your first 10 customers. So once that you think, maybe you build your persona and talking to all of those people and looking at the different areas. So this person, you have a lot of people that they hate this delivery fees. This is very important. The type of interaction they have with digital media. Checks email twice a day, watches YouTube as an entertainment, posts on Facebook to share ideas. Here they're telling you already the media that you should use, right? So this is very, very important. Spend time with family and friends, reading and shopping. So one of the things that you're going to see when we do the Google Analytics is that Google tells you what are the types of hobbies and interests that the people who are going to your website do. So this has become extremely important because you target people based on their hobbies and interests. Okay, so this is very, very important, a lot of the behavioral thing. So again, we'll go over this some more later on, but I want everybody to understand what this is, because there is, just like the marketing funnel, this is very, very important. Okay, so basically this is what we talked, the key concepts that we talked about, the ad campaign structure. So your assignment is going to be based on doing a structure of a particular company. Okay, you will see that it's not complicated. So this is starting at a very easy stage. Okay, and keep in mind that the campaign structure can have different types of structure. So there is not only one type of structure. Personal account. So, well, we didn't talk about this, but you'll see as you go along the platform, you'll see why you had to open a Google account. I hope that everybody already opened a Google account, because in order to do a lot of the Google exercises, because what the platform does, PathStream, is it jumps from Google to PathStream, and you're going to be doing certain things. And you can even open a Google ad account. At this stage, I wouldn't recommend it, because you can do all the assignments without having to do that. Then you have an ad group, which is the ads, keywords, bids. So this is the way you organize everything within each of the different campaigns. So here, right, your ad group. So you have the different functions or different, think of these as functions or benefits, or if you have a store, you have for clothing for children, clothing for women, for men, for whatever. So the structure that makes sense. One of the things that you will notice is that at the beginning you have to do a structure that kind of matches your website. And then you may realize that the issue may be the website. So that's when you need to go to somebody who can redesign the website so that it matches a structure that allows more people to find it, okay? And then we talked about the marketing funnel long enough. All right, so this is what we have for today. We finished 1 minute early. So my suggestion is if you don't have any questions, see you next week. If you have a question, stay and I'll stay to answer your question. So go ahead, Irene.
Good morning, Professor. I have a question. I'm kind of confused. Does search advertising and paid advertising, are they the same thing?
Search advertising. So again, let's go to the slide that explains it best. You can find it here. Yeah, here. So you're searching for dog treats, right? You get 191 million results, okay? So these that are here, the ones that say ad, are the ones that you're paying for. And then it doesn't show it here, but you also have the ones that have a display, like we're talking about, you know, that has a display, it has pictures. So if I go, let me just go to Google for a second so that we can see it. Oh, hold on a second. What did I do? Okay, so I'm gonna type. Oh, we can do dog treats. Okay, so this is the ads, right? This is your ads. This is your paid advertising, and these are your displays. So this is also paid, right? You can see it here because it says ad. Whenever it says ad or the word sponsor, it means that it's paid. Now, if you keep going down, this is not paid. This is the organic results, okay? So these over here, the ones that don't say paid or don't say sponsor, anything like that, those are organic results, okay? These right here, so these are a little, I think these are paid too. Usually they clearly state if they're paid, but no, I think these are organic. They're just displays. Because the ones that say, you see, it's clearly here, it says ads. So these are the ones paid. Why these ads? Okay. So does that answer the question, Irene?
Yes, Professor, yes. Kind of.
Okay.
I'm still a little confused, but.
So think of it this way. Whenever you see the word paid or sponsored, those are paid advertisement. And those are the ones that we're going to be focusing on the paid advertising. Anything that does not say ad or sponsor are the organic results. So that means that you have a website, right? So Google is finding your website on the web, on the internet,
Yeah.
but you won't pay for it.
I understand those two. I understand the concept between paid advertising, the ads, and the organic. Just those two words, the search advertising and the paid advertising. I'm wondering if they are the same thing. I know the difference between the ads and the organic.
So search advertising, search advertising, again, there's many terms that are used in different ways. But really, the word that is used is paid advertising. Paid advertising is everything that is paid. Own advertising is everything that is owned. So you have, and then you have earned advertising. So this is kind of the, people sometimes mix different words and different things, but these are the big three groups. Okay.
So, okay. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Again, the difference is the word search is used in relationship to using one of the search engines, meaning Google or Bing and all that. This course is about search advertising. This is what this course is about. I mean, the name of the course is called Search and Display Advertising. So this is, and here you can see explore search and display, create search and display campaigns, including search and display ad units. So this is what this course is about. So all this advertisement that we're seeing in Google and all this stuff is what we're designing to do. Because you don't need, I mean, you need a good website in order to be organic, but you don't really need somebody to help design an advertising and pay for the organic. You need to design a campaign and all the stuff that we're going to learn to do a really good ad, a display ad, like she explained, a display ad or one of the regular ads. So this is, and the reason is what people are realizing is that a lot of people say, oh no, I'm not going to spend any money on doing this because small business, and I don't have to buy. Well, if you don't spend the money doing this, people are just not going to find it. Because in order to be in that first page, again, depending on what you're selling, if you have a small pizza place, Google will show your pizza place in the neighborhood. What I'm saying is that if you're looking for something like dog treats, the ones that are going to show up first in the organic are always going to be the big ones, okay? And it's going to be very difficult so you have Amazon, Petco, and so on. If you're a small company or small business or a new business, you need to do these because otherwise you're not going to have enough, you don't have enough traffic for people to find you. Anybody else? Okay, so for next Monday, so here's my recommendation. Next Monday, the only thing that is due is the quiz, okay? And that quiz is very short and simple. So as you read and do section 2, you'll see the quiz. And oh, by the way, sometimes it's easier. If you cannot find the quiz, you go back to PathStream, okay? So you go back to Blackboard, you click PathStream. So you don't want to go through all the different chapters to find where the quiz is. You already read it and you click here, section 2, and you see, here's the quiz. You click here and it takes you directly to the quiz. The same thing with the assignments. So there is no assignment for section 2. That's why we're doing section 2 and section 3. Section 3, you click here, and you have the quiz and the assignment, and it takes you directly to where it is. By the way, and I recommend if you're having a little bit of trouble and you're going through the different modules and trying to find the assignment, the easiest way is just go back to Blackboard and click the assignment right here. Okay. Okay, so I'll see you on Monday, and like I said, if you have technical issues, use the chat for PathStream. If you have any questions about the assignment or the concept, this is already recorded, but you can also send me an email. You can always send me an email for anything. Okay, well, have a nice rest of your day.